Hello guys, how are you doing? I hope you are doing very well. Guys, today's lesson will be the phases of the moons. Actually, if you know some of them, this is very easy topic. If you know there are some names, if you know these names, you directly know all the phases of the moons. Even you can draw it, you can give them their names easily just by knowing these names. So they are so easy, and I'm gonna explain it now, and you will understand easily. So let's start. Bismillah. So the moon, first of all, we have to know that when for the moon to complete its moving around the Earth, we all know that moon is going to move around the Earth for changing the months. So this is going to take 29.5 days. 29.5 days. And we have some names to know the faces of the moons. First of all, you have to know. If you know then what does this means, when for example, number one is gibbous. Some pronunciation is going to be gibbous, but we say gibbous. Both of them are correct. Gibbous, for example, this is when more than half of the moon lights up. Okay, if more than half of the moon lit up, it means this is called gibbous. If you look at this, you see more than half lit up. This is half, this is more than half. That one is less. So it means the white line means how much of the moon lit up. So it means now you see that it's more than half lit up. That's why we say gibbous. And crescent, which is the opposite of gibbous, this is when less than half light up. If you look at this, you see it's less. This is the half, but this is less than half. This is not the half of the moon. So it means if you know them, for example, if you know gibbous, you know the crescent because it's opposite. So gibbous is when more than half lit up. Crescent is less than half lit up. So, and we have another two which they are opposite too, waxing and waning. Waxing is when the moon appears to be getting bigger. It means the moon is gonna get bigger and bigger. You know, the moon sometimes the moon is going to get bigger. Get bigger until it's gonna be full. Then they will start to. I mean, the moon is gonna start to become smaller and smaller until it will be empty, right? So during this getting bigger, you see the moon is like that. It's gonna get bigger, bigger. When you say bigger, it means the more of the moon is gonna light up. So getting bigger, bigger, bigger until it's gonna be full moon. So this process getting bigger, this is called waxing. Waxing means that when the moon is going to get bigger. And waning is opposite of the waxing, is when the moon is gonna get smaller. You see, the moon is gonna get so after getting full, it's going to be the circle is gonna continue getting smaller, smaller, smaller until it's gonna be empty. You see, it means four of them are very easy because two of them are both of them. I mean, like it's gonna be like kind of 2 points because they're opposite. Gibbous and crescent are opposite. Waning and waxing are opposite. So gibbous is when more than half lit up, and crescent is when less than half lit up. And waning is when less than waning is when the moon is getting smaller. Waxing is when the moon is getting bigger. That's it. It's so easy. I mean, I told you the words are easy. And if you look at, for example, if I give you a picture like that, I will tell you, show me which one is crescent, which one is gibbous. So you have to know which one is more than half. That one is more than half. That one is more than half. Here is more. Here is more. You see, this is half. Like this, that one is half too. So it means we can easily say that one and these are gibbous. Why? Because they are more than half of the moon lit up. If I say which one is crescent, you have to say that one here. That one is not half. That one is less. That one here too. That one is less. That one half. So it means these are less than half. We say these are we call them crescent. Why? Because they're less than half of the moon lit up. So it means when the moon more than half of the moon lit up, we say gibbous. If less than half of the moon lit up, we say crescent. And waxing is when the moon is gonna get bigger and bigger, you see, by changing the days, when today and next, tomorrow, another day, you see, continuously, by changing the days, the moon is gonna get bigger. So these steps, we will call this waxing, when the moon is gonna get bigger. And when the moon is gonna get smaller, it means this day, tomorrow, another day after this, you see that the moon, if you look at the moon at night, you see the moon is gonna get smaller and smaller every day until it's gonna be empty. We call this waning. It means we have these two, gibbous and crescent, which are opposite, and waning and waxing, which are opposite too. So we have new moon is when you see nothing, guys. If you look at this part here, you see get smaller until it's gonna be empty. Empty is here. You see nothing. When you see nothing, the moon will be completely dark. We call this new moon. Why? Because guys, this is a circle like that. You see, this is a circle. New moon, then it start to get bigger, full moon, then gonna get smaller, new moon until we're gonna be finished. New moon start. You know, continue, then new moon again. Continue, new moon. It means this is the first 15 days. This is the second 15 days. The first 15 days, we call them waxing, and the second 15 days is waning. The first 15 days is waxing, that the moon is gonna get bigger, and the second 15 days of the month is waning, which is the moon is gonna get smaller. So, and we have full moon, the center of the month. You see the 15th day, you know, you see, look at this. This is the full moon. When you see the full moon, that is the center of the month. You see, it's gonna get bigger until it's gonna be full. Then it's gonna get smaller until it's gonna be empty. And we have quarter, guys. Quarter is when the half of the moon light up, either this half or the other half. Okay, actually that one is I just copy pasted, otherwise it must be this opposite, you know. I mean, what do you call getting smaller. When they get smaller, sometimes the right side is gonna light up, sometimes the left side. When the moon is gonna get bigger and bigger, the right side is gonna light up during waxing, and during waning, you know, the left side is gonna get light up. So let's go for the other part. Guys, if you know all of these things, I'm gonna tell you the note here. You can never see the whole moon light up. Why? That's the question. Guys, when the sun is going to hit the moon, 100% is going to hit one of the side of the moon. The other side will be dark. When you see the full moon, so the back side of the moon, you see that's the front side we see. The back side is completely dark. Why do you call half moon a quarter? Why? Because this is not a real half. This is a quarter actually. Why? Because we have a circle. This is one side. 2. The other back side is we have 2 else, right? 1, 2. The back side we have another 2. So when we see half moon, it means we see the quarter actually. That's the point. I didn't tell you from the beginning to understand, to not confuse. When you know everything, I want to tell you right now. When you see the full moon, actually you see half of the moon because the other half is dark, the back side. So when you see half of the moon, you see the quarter because the back side is dark and the right side is dark, only the left side, small part of the left side lights up. So let's go for the other part. The sunlight is gonna come from the right side. It's going to hit, you know, guys, this is the moon. This is the moon. It's gonna move around the earth. And we are here. Guys, we are here. Be careful. When you look at these moons, you have to imagine that you are here and looking at this moon, the small moons. You have to look at the small moons to understand how these big are made. So, when the sunlight comes from here and hit this moon, the moon is here in front of us. We are here. What do we see? Follow the arrow. We see black line. You see the black part. We see nothing. That we call this new moon. When you see nothing, when you see the dark side, it means the other half is lights up. You see, but we don't see it. We don't see the light, the other part, because this is out of the orbit of the moon. So it means when we see nothing, it means we are here, we see here, we see this part. The sunlight comes from this part and hits this side, the right side, the black side. We don't see it, we see the black side. I told you in the previous page, when you see the full moon, it means the other side is completely dark. And when the sun hits this part, the other side, which is we are seeing, is going to be new moon and dark. And when the moon is gonna move, the the light rays are going to hit them, right? So only small part like this you see, only small part we see that. Look at the follow the arrow. What do we see? This side black, this side lit up. You see this small part. We call this waxing crescent. Leave the names, I'm gonna explain it. Then the moon is gonna continue of moving for about 7 days. You see the sunlight is going to hit them, right? So what do we see? We see that the sunlight is going to hit this part. We don't see the outside of the orbit. You see this is the circle. We don't see the outside, only inside. Look, I made this line. We see this half empty, dark, half full, half lit up. You see, half. And when the moon is gonna continue for this, the sun is going to hit this moon. You see, so follow the arrow. What do we see? This small part is dark and the other part will be lit up. You see the small dark and most lit up. And when the moon is going to be here, the sun is going to hit it. What? Full. Follow the arrow. We are here. We are going to see full. Whole the moon. Whole is lit up. So when the moon is until now, guys, when the moon is you see, we said in previous part, we said when the moon is gonna get bigger and bigger, we call this waxing. Until now that was all waxing. Why? Because we had nothing, right? Then some appear, when half, more than half, then full. You see the moon is getting bigger until it's gonna be full. It means from here to there is going to be waxing. From here to there is waxing, getting bigger and bigger. And after that, it's going to start from E to the A. You see the other side, the other half. The first half, first 15 days, the moon is waxing and getting bigger. The second 15 days, the moon is getting smaller. We call this waning. So when the moon is full, it's going to move like that. Then the sunlight is going to hit this moon, right? If you follow this, the arrows, you see, what do we see? We see this. Most of them is light up and some dark. You see a little dark. Look at here. Some dark and most lit up. Then the moon is continue for here. You see what do we see? The sun is going to hit this part. You see what do we see here? This side is dark. The sun is not gonna hit this side. So on this we see only this. We see half of the moon. The other half is dark. When the moon is continue of moving, the sun is going to hit like that. You see the heat like that. Most of them you see this. Only this part the sun is gonna hit. We see only this small part, and the most of the part will be dark. You see most is dark. So it means just imagine that you are here and you are going to see these small moons. Then these big moons, guys, just for you to understand. Otherwise this small moon, how this small moon is going to move, you can draw the other moons easily. We have these moons and you can draw the other faces. So let's understand the names we have studied. We said gibbous means when the moon is more than half. Look, this is gibbous. You see, more than half lights up. That one is gibbous. You see, more than half lights up. And we said crescent is means less than half lights up. You see, less than half lights up. You say this is crescent. You see, crescent. So that one is crescent too, less than half. And we said new moon we see nothing. You see, new moon we see nothing. And we said the full moon we see whole the moon lights up. So you see whole the moon lights up. And we said the quarter, which is half of the moon lights up. Actually this is half of the half, because we said that we cannot see whole the moon. We see only half. So it means when we say quarter, it means half of the half. you see, we see half of the half. This is the half of the moon. We see half of the half. It means half of the moon. So half of the moon lights up. So let's follow the names. When we say waxing crescent, we understood before. We said crescent means less than half lights up. Waxing means the moon is getting bigger. So we understand that the moon is going to get bigger from here to there. So that's why we call this waxing, because moon is getting bigger. And we call this crescent because it's less than half crescent. I mean less than half lights up. And this is quarter. Its name, the name is easy. And what about this one? The moon is getting bigger. That's why, what's the name? The name is waxing. We said when the name is getting big, the moon is getting bigger, we call this waxing. And we studied that when the more than half lights up, the name is gibbous. That's why we say waxing gibbous. Why? Because the moon is getting bigger, we have to say waxing. More than half lights up, we have to say gibbous. In here, the moon is getting bigger, we say waxing. Because less than half, we say crescent. Waxing crescent, and that one is waxing gibbous. Full moon and new moon are clear. We see nothing in new moon, we see whole in full moon. What about the other part? Because in the second 15 days, the moon is getting smaller, we have to say waning, right? So, that, for example, if you give a name, let's say I will hide this name. How will you give this name? You say, because this is the next, in the second 15 days, the moon is getting smaller. That's why that one is waning. You see, we said waning is when the moon gets smaller, right? So it means the second top part, the moon is getting smaller, we have to say waning. And what about the shape of the moon? We said when more than half lights up, it's gibbous. We have to say waning gibbous. Why? Why? Because the moon is getting smaller, we have to say waning. And because more than half lights up, we have to say gibbous. Waning gibbous. The third quarter, leave it. So let's go for the last one. And we said when the moon is getting smaller is waning. We say waning. And how much of lights up? Less than half. Less than half is what? We said crescent. Crescent is when less than half lit up. So that's why we say because it's getting smaller, we have to say waning. Because less than half, we have to say crescent. That's why I told you, if you know these four names, gibbous, crescent, waxing, waning, you can give the name for all the phases easily, but just by this. For example, the moon is getting bigger, we have to say waxing. It's less than half, we have to say crescent. The waxing crescent. The moon is getting bigger, we have to say waxing. And it's more than half, it's gibbous. Waxing gibbous. In the second 15 days, the down part, the moon is getting smaller, it's waning. And more than half lights up, it's gibbous. Waning gibbous. And in here, it's still in the second 15 days. You see? First 15 days, second 15 days. So the moon is getting smaller the second 15 days. What does it mean? Waning. How much lights up? Less than half. Less than half is what? Crescent. Waning crescent. So that's why I said if you know these four names, you can give the name for all the phases of the moons easily. Just by if the moon more than half is you have to say gibbous. If it's less than half, you say crescent. If it's in waxing steps, you have to say waxing. If it's waning, I mean getting smaller, you have to say waning. And the full moon and new moon are clear. You see new moon is here, you see nothing. Full moon you see all. The quarters are easy. The only for that are kinda confusing are this: waxing crescent, waxing gibbous, waning crescent, waning gibbous. If you know the names that I told you in here, you can easily know, as I told you, getting bigger waxing, less than half crescent, waxing crescent. Getting bigger waxing, less than half, more than half gibbous, waxing gibbous. And getting smaller waning, more than half gibbous, waning gibbous. Getting smaller waning, less than half crescent, waning crescent. It means instead of having one name, we have two names. If you know waxing and gibbous, you know what's waxing gibbous. If you know waxing and crescent, you know waxing crescent too. If you know waning and gibbous, you know what's waning gibbous. If you know what's crescent, what's waning, you know what's waning crescent means too. Just by mixing the names. because waxing and waning is just like a process of getting bigger, process of getting smaller. Otherwise, the crescent and the gibbous are the names. Less than half crescent, more than half gibbous. Actually, this lesson was really easy. I hope you all understand everything, and if you have any questions, you can just write it. Best wishes.